we finally found the key that will unlock the secret to eternal youth? Find out. Watch The Fountain of Youth. Stephanie Sheldon's special report tonight on the news at 10.
Let me tell you something. Millions of Americans have been fighting the slaughter of the unborn for years, all right? The battle has been fought from the state legislature to the Supreme Court with little success, all right? Well, thousands of Americans are taking the battle to the streets of New York. They're putting their bodies and their lives on the line by chaining themselves to the doors of abortion chambers to put a stop to this legalized slaughter. Are they saving lives or obstructing justice? Has the right to life done anything? Have the pro-choicers done anything? Operation Rescue next. Stay with us. Let me introduce two of our guests first right off the bat. And let me say this, all right? Bill Baird and I have known each other for a long time. Not only have we been antagonists, all right? Not only have we gotten down to the nitty-gritty of fighting together, physically and everything else, but we have learned to respect each other as opponents. That doesn't mean I'm not going to kick his ass tonight. Doesn't mean he's not going to try to kick mine, all right? All right? Now, Randall Terry, I don't know, but I know that he's new blood in a movement that God knows needs some new blood, all right? It's a movement that's seen a president by the name of Ronald Reagan pay nothing but lip service. It's a movement that's seen Dr. C. Everett Koop pay nothing but lip service. It's a movement that's seen so many leaders, including George Bush, do nothing but pay lip service. So at least the right to life knows that their friends are a little bit on the other side of their enemies. We'll find out what happens tonight. Let me start with you, Bill. You're the father of abortion. That's what you've been called. Isn't that a euphemism for murderer?
No, I'm a realist. I think that women have an absolute right to abortions. As you know, when I first began in 1963, a woman died in my arms who was desperate in her efforts to abort herself, took a piece of coat hanger, rammed it through the wall of her uterus. We know that woman is dead. We certainly know that no state law has ever been passed.
No, the baby's dead too, so there were two killings.
Well, again, if you say that to me, Morton, then you have to intelligently tell your millions of your audiences, name me any state that an embryo is a person or...
Doesn't mean the state's right, all right? There's a lot of states that I think are wrong, but go ahead, that's a good point.
Any pregnant woman who's counted as two people, or any baby when it's born is 9 months old.
Doesn't make mistakes right, though, does it?
Okay, but in your estimation, that's a mistake.
Yeah, in my estimation, all right.
But in millions of Americans, poll after poll, where referendums have been done, such as in New Hampshire, Vermont, states like Massachusetts, Arkansas, all have voted overwhelmingly in support of a woman's right to abortion.
How'd they do in Nevada, Bill, huh? Because I ran that referendum out in Nevada. I put that together. How'd they do, huh? 67 to 33, they lost.
What year?
Because the questions weren't fun.
What year? What year?
Go ahead.
Tell the audience, the quotes I just gave you was this past year. Now, you tell the audience, when was the Nevada one done?
1978.
Would you not agree, then, a 10-year difference in span of time?
I would say a 10-year difference in time has allowed the pablum-puking press and everyone else to sell the American people that a body is just a piece of when it's in a woman. Get rid of it. It doesn't mean anything. Sorry if I upset some of the born-again Christians.
Well, what about the right-wing conservatives who become instant converts when their wife becomes pregnant or their daughter becomes pregnant?
That's a bunch of malarkey. That's a bunch of malarkey.
But that goes on all the time.
Yeah, you're right. The world's loaded with hypocrisy.
You remember, my place was firebombed by a born-again Christian who said, in the name of Jesus Christ, I'll cleanse by fire. We had 50 people there, as you recall that story, threw the gasoline against the wall,
They weren't in there when any gasoline was thrown. Everyone was out of the building.
Well, listen to this.
Here's the point. Let me introduce a possible new arm of leadership in a movement that I think has become so fat and happy with their national right to life conventions every year in Nebraska. I mean, You don't get anything done at a damn convention. Randy, let me start with you. Tell me about Operation Rescue. Why did you organize it? And was it to fight guys like Butcher Bill here?
Well,
Butcher Bill? Be careful.
the purpose of Operation Rescue is twofold. Number one, to make women safe from being exploited from people like this and children from being killed. And number two, to put some teeth in our rhetoric. See, what you've said is absolutely right. The pro-life movement has gone around for 15 years saying abortion is murder, but yet we don't act like it's murder. We write little things, we write little letters. Good grief, if one of my children was about to be killed, I'm not going to write a letter to the editor. I'm going to intervene with my body to separate the killer from the victim. And what Operation Rescue is about is peacefully. And I want to say it, we've been peaceful. You've seen it. I mean, it's been exciting.
You don't go back to supporting the bombing of abortion chambers or anything like that?
Well, our purpose in Operation Rescue is to be peaceful.
You didn't answer my question. Do you
well,
support
I'm not.
the
I'll tell you
bombing?
what. I will condemn the bombings as soon as the abortionists condemn the violence that they're doing.
That's getting
against
like into the Israeli. That's Randy. That's like getting together with the PLO and the Israelis, and neither of them saying they'll ever sit down. Nothing gets solved. One of us has to first say that the bombing of abortion chambers is at the very least irresponsible.
All right, I'm prepared to say it might be irresponsible, but I'm going to say this. First of all, I shed no tears over it. I don't think it's a good tactic. I think it's a bad tactic because it alienates the American people. So I am stressing with this movement that we be nonviolent, absolutely nonviolent. Now, to go on to the second reason that we're doing Operation Rescue, the pro-life movement's rhetoric of murder, of slaughter, has been so far removed from their actions as to deny us any fair hearing. We're like the boy who cried wolf. So politicians respond when they feel the heat. You know, you've heard this saying, they see the light when they feel the heat. We have failed to create enough social tension and upheaval to produce political change. So if we want to produce political change, which we do, we need a constitutional amendment to end this slaughter. But to get there...
See, well, let me tell you.
We've got to have upheaval.
You're 29 years old, right?
That's right.
I've been in this fight since you were 14 years old, all right? And let me tell you what happened. When there were those of us who said, let's go get states' rights and let the states, all right, decide, because I happen to be a states' writer. I happen to believe the states are individual commonwealths and should have their right to vote.
I am too.
Everyone in the right to life fought it. I mean, I was thrown out. I was brought back in. I was thrown out. All right, fought that, and that could have been accomplished. If you save one unborn baby, you've accomplished something.
Absolutely.
Your people,
absolutely.
Right? Just one. Absolutely. I want you and I want our audience to take a look at what Operation Rescue is all about, all right? It's going on in New York right now. I want you to see what it's all about. There have been over 1,200 arrests. Here's the question I ask myself, Bill. It comes to my mind all the time, and I ask our audience, and Randall, you. I say, as if I could withdraw myself from having an emotional involvement in this issue, which I can, I say to myself, what do the right to lifers have to gain by trying to save the life of an unborn child or a preborn child other than their own souls? What do they have financially to gain? And I say, nothing. Then I say to myself, what do the pro-choicers, all right, who want women to have the right to have an abortion have to gain for themselves? And I say, a lot of dinero, baby. Right. A lot of money.
Big bucks. So I can answer that?
A lot of money. I'd like to hear an answer from Bill.
Okay. Well, first of all, what anti-abortion people may say, if you force a woman to go through pregnancy, there's a great deal of money in childbirth, $4,000 to $5,000 each child.
Come on. People here aren't trying to get money from babies.
Here we are again, placing a dollar value on human life in this country. Folks, remember it when you get about 75 years old, they want to pull the plug on you.
That's right.
But you were trying to argue how money is being made by pro-choice people. There's also money made for adoption fees. Also, there's something much deeper than that. If you notice, even the tenor of an audience, there's something called power and religious bigotry, where my God is better than your God, or my religion. I happen to be a Unitarian. My Unitarian faith supports abortion. They're as good as anybody in this room. The Protestant Council of Churches, Reformed Jewish faith, the Methodists, all of us support abortion.
Did you notice the Jews that were with us?
Okay.
Did you notice Rabbi Levin? Did you notice?
Do you know do Reformed Jews support abortion? Do Reformed Jews support abortion as an organization?
I said it to you
Randy,
the other night. I'm going to say it again about
that?
ministers. Any minister of the gospel or of God in heaven who pretends to be a shepherd of the sheep, who says that it's okay to malign and molest women and kill children, is a false shepherd. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Now, why don't you tell the audience?
Wait a second. While we're talking about sheep, my friends, let me tell you there that Daddy Warbucks goes back a long way in fighting for the rights for people. Let's go back to House Bill number 3483 in 1970, all right? An act repealing the law punishing blasphemy, an act repealing the law prohibiting the crime against human nature. These were all thought up. They're repealing the laws punishing unnatural and lascivious acts with another person or an animal. An act repealing the law prohibiting fornication. All right, whoever commits the abominable and detestable crime against nature, either with mankind or a beast, all right, shall be punished by imprisonment in the state prison for not more than 20 years. And who went to his dear friend, Michael Dukakis, in 1970 to have this legislation passed? Him, lock up your dogs and hide the Easter Bunny, because he wants them. We'll be back in a minute.
The Pontiac Grand Event of the Year is in full swing. During the Grand Event, your Pontiac dealers have the deals of the year on all Pontiacs. We're cutting prices on every Pontiac just to celebrate the Grand Event. And the special stars of the Grand Event, Grand Am, the #1 car in its class, and Grand Prix, Motor Trend's Car of the Year. We're dealing on every Pontiac like never before during the Grand Event of the Year. Hurry in now. Black tie not required. The Pontiac Grand Event of the Year is on now.
The Coors Beer Supercross, a repeat of last year's incredible event at Giant Stadium, coming for one night only. They're rolling this Saturday night at 8. Electrifying AMA Supercross action. It is wild, high-flying jumps, home-wrenching stutter bumps, heart-stopping action. See all the superstars of Supercross, the best riders in the world. Face the most awesome man-made track ever. Tickets at all Tri-State Ticketmasters, Meadowlands Arena, participating Honda dealers, and Giant Stadium race day only. This Saturday night, Coors Meadowlands Supercross, an American original.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. Most of us live in our shoes, don't we? That's why we need Shoetown for quality, selection, name brands, and low prices. Now Shoetown's having a spectacular white sale. Save 20% on women's heels, flats, open looks too. All 20% off Shoetown's everyday low prices. For prices you can live with and shoes you can live in, you can count on Shoetown. And that's no fairy tale.
Shoetown, we want you to live in our shoes. Make it Mets.
9 great innings of making hits.
Take it Mets.
Baseball at a fever pitch. Got the power and the drive. And we bring it to your life. 9's your number and you're looking great.
Yeah, make it Mets. Mets 88.
The Mets face the Astros Wednesday night at 8 on Channel 9.
Make it Mets.
Transportation for the Morton Downey Jr. Show, furnished by Redwood Limousine. When in New York, call 212-226-7665.
All right. Never let it be said that I didn't give. Never let it be said. Zip it. Zip it. Never let it be said I didn't give Butcher Bill a chance to retort. Go ahead.
Well, what we're trying to say, Mort, is that no matter how sincere somebody is in their beliefs, they've got no right to take the law into their own hands to blockade a facility.
Would you tell that to Martin Luther King?
That's right. That's right.
But the difference with Dr.
Would you tell
King
that to
is
Martin Luther King?
The worst you would get is a heartburn at a lunch counter. but if you jeopardize the health
The worst
of a
you
woman's
would
life,
get was slavery.
anyway, the court said that they have no right to blockade it. So I have a present for Mr. Terry over here. Would you kindly come up and Annabelle, would you present this gift to Terry, please?
What do we got here? Is this, what is
This
it?
is
The Price
subpoena.
is Right?
He's now being served where there's a court order from the United States Federal Court.
Go ahead, Mark. Give it a good
Judge
tear.
Ward has said...
This is a piece of crap. All right? It's a piece of crap. City of New York against Randall Terry et al. Upon the affidavit submitted herein, obviously drawn up by some pablum puking lawyer, and obviously you're not going to have a chance because you'll go before some judge whose mother should have put saline solution up herself.
But Morton, you've got to obey the laws of our nation. If you don't obey the laws of your nation,
Let me introduce someone right here, all right? This is Adele Nathanson. Now, Adele Nathanson, and Patty Rosen is up here with us. Adele Nathanson is the wife of Dr. Nathanson, who was, if Bill Baird is the father of abortion, I've got to say that, unfortunately, at one time, Dr. Nathanson was the grandfather of abortion, having performed many thousands of abortions. However, in doing this, he came to recognize that there was value in these babies. They were life. Adele, thank you for being with us. Let me ask you a question. The pro-butchers keep saying women have the right to their own bodies. Does that mean they have the right to an abortion also?
Well, I can give you a long medical answer to that, because immunologically, the fetus is not a part of the woman's body.
Of course it's not if it is.
However,
if it's part of your body, honey, how come 50% of them have balls?
As a pro-life feminist, I want to know why we're destroying half of our sisters in the womb before they get a chance to have their rights outside the womb.
Patty.
Why is that?
Patty, I don't know. Maybe you can answer. Do women's rights over their own bodies include the right to abortion? Adele says yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
No. Well, I happen to disagree with her. I believe that nobody can tell anybody what to do with their bodies, and I am so offended by what Randy said. So offended. Wait a second.
Let me hear.
Offended as a Jew. My grandmother was not marched off to the Treblinka camp. For him to say that a Jew, because he does not recognize Jesus as the Savior, is lost sheep. My grandfather and my grandmother were not marched off to Treblinka for that, Randy, and that's an insult to every free-thinking person, every Jew. And just because...
Absolutely not. No.
And just because...
There's a Jew.
And just because
in the
you had
audience
some
who's saying
lunatic
they're pro-life.
friends... Let me finish, Randy. You had your say, now I'll let
I
on.
didn't say
what's
anything
going on
about
here.
Jews going to hell. You said
No,
that.
you said they're lost sheep.
I said anybody who says that they're a clergyman and says that abortion is okay is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
No, you said they're lost sheep.
By the way,
No,
we're
he
talking
said a
about,
wolf in sheep's
wait a
clothing.
minute, Mark.
But wait a
she's talking
second.
about bodies. No one has a right, to tell
No,
someone what to
tell
do
me
with their
what I
body.
can do.
Pan in on this little body. This is
That's
an
a doll,
11-week
Randy.
baby.
You're too
right
old to
here.
play with dolls, Randy.
It's a
Randy, be ashamed of yourself.
This is what an 11-week-old in utero child, they call it.
All right, in that 11-week-old child, is the heartbeat?
Absolutely, the heart
Are there
beats.
any brain waves?
Absolutely, for 3 weeks there's been
3
heart waves. The
weeks.
major organs
I
are
thought
functioning.
I thought the things that define death in this country were no heartbeat, no brainwave.
And this baby's got him, and this baby, this
Patty?
baby represents babies that
Randy,
will be
Randy,
butchered in
Randy,
Bill Baird's clinic.
All right, wait a second, Randy.
Bill Baird's
Randy
clinic.
and Bill, let Adele in
Every
here.
piece
Guys,
of new
let Adele in
scientific
here for a
evidence
second.
that comes down the pike proves that pro-lifers have been right all along.
Why is the American
You're back
College of
mired
Obstetricians
in
and
the
Gynecology against
60s,
for
using the
abortion
old
rights?
hollow slogans, the same
Because
old
they're the
things.
ones who get to perform the
They get more
abortions.
money from childbirth. You get
New England Journal of
Academy of Science
Medicine.
doesn't do abortion.
$3,000 for childbirth. They make a lot more money from childbirth than they do from abortion.
And their insurance is 7 times as high, too.
Pain,
Remember
childbirth, and its effects in the neonate. New England Journal of Medicine. Okay?
When is this from? What year?
What date is that, Adele?
It's November '87. Okay?
And
All
what
right.
does it
Now,
say?
get something fast, Adele, so we don't get a long, prolonged, don't read the whole thing. Read
Recent
what's
studies
important.
show that before 13 weeks, the neonate feels pain. The sensory receptors are in place at the 7th week of gestation.
There you go.
Right.
The mother has...
Adele, who gave that report?
Don't talk to me about choice. The mother has a choice. She has a choice not to get pregnant. She has a choice to have adoption.
says you're wrong.
She has many
says you're wrong.
choices that are ethical. No, there is no choice when the two choices are not ethical.
Well, how about the
Hey,
women's
this is
choice?
someone who is married to someone who was the darling of your movement. And now the darling of your movement has come to
Benedict Arnold. Making movies for them that he ever made.
He made no money on the silent scream. That's bull. That's so much crap.
It's so true.
They hated him when he was 4 years old.
Randy, you wouldn't know the truth if you fell over it. You think acorns are oak trees.
I wouldn't
You're the guy who thinks
Wait a second. Knock it off back here.
You don't
Knock
know
it off.
the
I
truth.
want Bill and Randall to comment.
This guy's over here calling this child an acorn. You know what? Let's pan in on a color shot. Here's an 8-week in utero child. Where do I aim this thing? Here's a baby
just hold
at 8
it.
weeks.
They'll aim in on it.
8 weeks. It's blown up. The actual size of the child is about this big. But so what? My little girl, when I saw her in the uterus, was sucking her thumb at 11 weeks, swinging her arms around, doing somersaults.
Well, you know, one of the things that bothers me, let's get away from, for 1 second, let's become very rudimentary and talk about abortion. You've shown that pain exists, all right? These dear people who love, all right, we humans out here, and I believe they do. I believe the pro-choicers love human beings. I believe they really are misguided and think that this is not a human being. But if indeed there is a chance that they suffer pain, how could people ever allow someone to go up with a curettage and cut this baby to shreds?
Not because
and
women will die with coat hangers and knitting needles if you don't allow them.
That was the woman doing it herself out of frustration and not being told that it was the right thing to do, like butchers like you.
But butchers like you deny women their freedom. You deny women their freedom. You deny it.
Let me ask Bill. Bill, we all know that pregnancy is a difficult and emotional time. But isn't that really a small price to pay for knowing that you're saving a life and bringing happiness into the lives of a childless couple?
Yes.
Mort, I've often said this. If I could start with Randy over here and let men have one menstrual cramp, you watch what instant converts they would become. Okay?
That's a bunch of junk.
We know that abortion...
If I could stop with me over here and let women get kneed in the balls once, maybe they'd think about it, too.
Yeah, but you don't carry a pregnancy for 9 months. That's the difference. You don't carry a pregnancy for 9 months.
Dr. Danja, if you care so much about women, why did Dr. Jaffe perforate and ruin a 17-year-old girl's inside?
Did your husband ever perforate a uterus?
And
Adele, tell this audience. Did your husband ever perforate a uterus?
Let her answer your question, Bill.
What?
My husband is a gynecologist. He's not an eye, ear, nose, and throat doctor like Mr. Jaffe.
He's
an
a what?
obstetrician gynecologist.
Do you not know that paramedics... Patty, hold a second. Do you not know that paramedics do abortions in the state of Vermont? Do you know that as long as you're a licensed physician, you can do it? One perforation in 10 years of practice. Now tell this audience, how many perforations did your husband have when I knew him when we worked together? Why don't you tell the audience?
In his clinic...
Go ahead, Patty. Go ahead. Go ahead. You have... Wait a second. You have no sin to worry about. Go ahead,
Read the medical literature. He wrote a paper. 60,000 abortions went on in that clinic that he ran, okay?
And how many were perforations?
And they were totally safe.
Wait, how many? They're safe.
They weren't safe for the baby.
Yes.
There were perforations.
First trimester,
all right, let's cut this for a minute because I want to find out, should the American taxpayers pay for abortions? Hell no, not me. I ain't going to pay. Stay with us. You think the whole world's gone crazy? It's gone mad. Mort After Dark, Saturday nights at 11.
Some love the fact that TDK high-bias audio cassettes feature a super-Aveling formulation that incorporates cobalt-adsorbed gamma-ferric oxide ions, which provide optimum over a wide dynamic range. Some just love the music.
TDK so real.
If
If you're getting ready to buy your first new car, check out the imported Pontiac Le Mans. Its quality and dependability are backed by a powertrain warranty far longer than anything on Toyota, Hyundai, even Honda. And now, qualified first-time new car buyers get $600 cash back and another $500 on top of that for a total of $1,100 cash back. $1,100. Pontiac Le Mans.
Get on your Pontiac. Rebuild excitement.
Cosmetic surgery? If you think it could improve your life, you should speak to the highly trained surgeons at Profiles and Contours. At Profiles and Contours, each patient receives the personal care and attention of a board-certified surgeon, and their computer imaging system will show how you could look before surgery, not after. So discover the difference. Call 861-4100 now for your free consultation. You can feel good about yourself. Call 861-4100 now.
Is it any wonder two commuter trains collided last month? I mean, it turns out 5 Metro North workers were high on drugs. They'll track that story down next on the news at 10.
The Union County Prosecutor's Office has implemented a program to ensure that dangerous drug offenders in our state institutions stay there. We plan to review inmate records and look for appropriate grounds to oppose early parole for drug pushers who prey upon our children and the rest of society. Serious drug offenders directly contribute to violent crime. We must do our best to keep them off our streets.
Now, I'm gonna get my tail in trouble with you, Judge, all right? So I'm gonna read this summons that has been served upon Randall here. And as I look into it, I see that for anyone who peacefully demonstrates in front of an abortion chamber, you will be fined $25,000. Yeah! Wait a second. Judge, are you watching me? Are you watching me, Judge? The people think you're an intimidating son of a bitch, all right? And I want you to know something, Judge. Had that $25,000 fine stood for Martin Luther King, we wouldn't have a nation that was advancing towards unity. You're separating us. You're separating us.
Morton.
Judge, that's a piece of crap. Now, you can get me for contempt of court. I have no contempt for the court. I only have contempt for you. I want to start back with Patty. I want to start with Patty. I want to talk about Operation Rescue.
You can't
want to talk
blockade
about
the door.
Operation
That's
Rescue.
what it said. You
What?
can't blockade the door. You read it wrong. The judge said, not that you can't peacefully protest. He said you cannot blockade the door. You cannot deny people going into a building or leaving a building. That's called false imprisonment.
No, it's not.
That's called intimidation, all right?
That's called law and
order. Go ahead,
order.
Patty. Let me hear from Patty.
If nothing else, we owe Randy a thank you for coalescing the pro-choice movement as has not been coalesced in the last 5 years. You have brought us all together. I am not a communist. I am a mother. I have 2 children, one of which is here tonight.
And with the bigots.
But see, this is what you have in the anti-choice movement. You have bigots who are not tolerant of other people's beliefs.
It's not a matter of beliefs, it's a matter of life and death.
That's right.
Death of women, that's what that's
I'm
saying.
here. I know I'm a person.
And Adele is there, and she's a woman, and all these people that are pro-life for women. So don't give us this junk that abortion is a friend of women.
I'm a pro-life feminist.
It's a misnomer. There can't even be a pro-life feminist.
I don't want to wade through the blood of my sisters to gain my freedom. There's a long history in this country of honorable civil protest.
Do you think that by making it illegal, you're going to stop women from having abortions?
The abolitionists?
No, I think women who really want an abortion are going to have one.
That's right.
I think they're going to have one.
The ritual.
People will always run red lights. They'll cheat
But
on
let's
their
talk
taxes.
about taxes.
Difference.
Do you think, Randy, let me start with you. You think the American taxpayer's dollar should go to abortion?
Absolutely not. I think it's outrageous. It's infuriating. And I can't, in my mind, I can't even conceive of some of our money going to molest women and to kill children. And what I want to just say it again, Mort, in one sentence, Mort. Let me say it again.
Let me ask Bill. You gave me, the answer is no. Bill?
Yeah, I believe very much that the United States people should not discriminate. If we pay for childbirth $3,000 to $4,000 for people, we should also pay the opposite end for the abortion. But the bottom line is, I don't like my money being spent for churches, for instance, for aid to parochial schools. But in a pluralistic nation, you do that because we live in a democracy.
Will you tell me which government money is aiding parochial schools, please?
Oh, in New York State, there's money given all the time to aid Catholic textbooks, to aid taxi buses.
My public school buses. Public
Bill,
school buses.
don't throw up a smoke screen like that.
Public
Don't throw
school
it.
buses
Huh?
pick up kids at the parochial
I would
schools and take them
suggest,
back and forth.
I would suggest, incidentally, that not enough is done for the parochial schools. If I had my way, I would get these wimpy administrators of the parochial schools in the United States to say, this year, every parochial school is shut down, send them to the public school, and annihilate the public schools.
They're retards. Fantastic. I think that's great.
That's what I do. Now, let's get back on taxes. Bill, you and I know that one of the greatest issues that separates people in this country is the abortion issue. Isn't there another way of not reaching into the pockets of saintly people who believe in persevering and preserving life?
Mort, you know, I honestly believe we could have a first here today.
Well,
we could have a
down
first
here.
on this broadcast. If I could reach over to Randy, say, Randy, we may disagree on the abortion issue, but let us work together to reduce the need for abortion by promoting birth control. If you remember my case, Baird v. Eisenstadt, legalized birth control. But Randy told me on another broadcast that one of the bills I submitted that you read about, Mr. Dukakis, was the bill on fornication, which carried with it a 6-month jail term. He told me that he had intercourse prior to marriage, but he's opposed now to other people having intercourse prior to marriage. So, Randy, would you not... Randy, isn't that true? You're opposed to intercourse before marriage?
First of all, it was not on another broadcast. It was in a private conversation. And it shows how barbaric this man is. That he wants to try and drag things through. No, hear me. Second of all, he's talking about birth control, which means that your 13-year-old daughter can go to Planned Parenthood and can get birth control that may affect her adversely. She can go get an abortion, which may affect her adversely, and be marred for the rest of her life without your notification.
Randy, didn't you have sex before you got married? Randy, tell the truth.
Well, let me tell you, Randy, this is, Randy, we got to find new arguments for our cause, all right? Because this is an argument Bill knows that I went through myself with my own daughter, all right? Had the problem, Bill knows the result, and I'm not going to bring that up again. However, you know,
Randy,
with all the
birth
money,
control?
Bill, that we're spending, let's think of solutions, all right?
Solutions
All
would be
we
birth
do is
control.
fight.
Okay.
All we do is fight, and that stinks. How about solutions?
Birth
How
control.
about the fact that no, let's even go further than birth control.
Okay.
How about the fact that in this great technological nation of ours, we have developed fake hearts, fake bones, fake this. Why in the name of God haven't we spent money to develop, all right, a womb, all right, to grow the baby from the mother who doesn't want it in the womb? Because there's me, there's you, there's 1,000 other people every minute who would love to adopt that baby. I'm trying to find a solution.
But birth control is more realistic, Mort.
Birth control doesn't work. Birth control is for the wealthy. Birth control is for the wealthy.
Birth control works, the condom works, the pill works, the diaphragm works.
How about adopting some of the babies that are lying in foundling hospitals?
Andy,
the black,
Terry,
the retarded.
Would you support birth control?
I want to get back to...
How many babies have you
if we can, at
adopted,
some
by the way,
point, I want to
Randy?
get back to what it's going to take
Randy,
to
how
end
many
this
babies have
Holocaust.
you adopted
Once-
lying in foundling hospitals?
What is it going to take, in your opinion, what is it going to take to end the Holocaust, to bring Americans back together again,
Yes.
all right?
Jesus. It's gonna take-
See to allow all of us to still live our own lives the way that we see fit to live.
All right, number one, to end this Holocaust, it's going to take a repentance of people who know that we've let it go on long enough, and just an upheaval in the streets, peaceful, but an upheaval that grinds this thing to a halt by just placing our bodies against the wheels and gears of this abortion
Jews go
industry
out the
until we
back door,
close
though.
it
No
down.
Jews
That's
go
number
out.
one. Number two, to bring us back to some moral sanity, we have all got to repent before the God of heaven, who our forefathers, you read, no, you don't have to be a Christian. Benjamin Franklin was not a Christian. Thomas Jefferson was not a Christian, but they still had a reverence for God. And we've got people who are
You got to
saying...
remember there are people in this country who have the same freedoms we do who
Yes.
are atheists.
And want to worship differently.
And Bernard Nathanson...
And if anyone in the world would not have an abortion, I would think it was an atheist. If this is your only time around, pal, make it work. You know.
All right, Bernard Nathanson for years was a professed atheist and was on pro-life. All I'm saying is that in a country where moral sanity prevails, even atheists are safer if your daughters are not out getting raped. Amen. And marred. If your daughters are not getting abortions by people like him who are out for profit because there's some...
We're a non-profit group, Randy. Know your facts, Randy. But may I respond to that? You know, you talk about repentance.
Everyone is safer
Randy,
in a
not
culture
everyone
where
has
the
to buy into
Judeo-Christian
your
ethic
propaganda,
prevails.
your religious viewpoint. When you talk about repent, okay, there are good people who are Unitarians who reject
Bill,
your
let's take a break for a minute. Let's meet a pro, all right? An all-pro who's also pro-life. Stand by.
This Wednesday from 4 p.m. to midnight, it's Siemens 8-Hour Living Room Spectacular. Your chance to save on contemporary sofas, love seats, and chairs. Save hundreds of dollars on traditional and colonial sofas, love seats, and chairs. Save 25% on every table, $100 on every wall unit, $100 to $150 on recliners, $100 on every sectional. Sofa love seat sets reduced to just $5.99. Get dramatic reductions on leather sofas, love seats, and chairs. That's this Wednesday, 4 p.m. to midnight, Siemens 8-Hour Living Room Spectacular.
Head out on the highway, looking for adventure, and whatever comes our way, like a true nature's child, we were born to be wild, born to be wild.
I got tired of those long, boring nights. Here at Palmer Video, I pick up great movies I really enjoy. Palmer Video has thousands and thousands of tapes and plenty of copies of new releases. It's one of the largest selections throughout the land. And I've searched. Palmer has a lifetime membership I can sink my teeth into. Visit one of Palmer's 90 locations. Palmer Video. Enjoy the night.
Welcome to a kingdom where everybody's treated like a king.
You're the king. You're the king of the castle. Trump's Castle Hotel and Casino. And baby, do we know how to treat a king? You're the king.
Now this is a castle.
For Trump's Castle reservations, call 1-800-441-5551.
People living in teepees on the Lower East Side in what we call Alphabet City. How come?
Because the landlords...
I love the streets and talking to people. The city isn't glass or steel, it's people. I'm Dennis Hamill from New York Newsday. I'll go to any neighborhood, anytime to cover a good story.
This is East New York, 2 blocks from New Lots Avenue, where recently 6 people were shot with Uzi submachine guns. People ask me what I do for a living. I tell them something different every day.
New York Newsday, on top of the news and ahead of the times.
Let me introduce you to an all-pro who is pro-life, all right? His name is Mark Bavaro. I'm sure you're familiar with him. Mark, you're all-pro, Super Bowl star for the New York Giants. You've never been grabbed for committing a crime, and yet you were recently arrested. What could be important enough for you to go to jail for?
Abortion.
Abortion? You don't look like you had one.
Well, my philosophy is simple. I believe abortion is murder, and I'll do whatever my God in heaven leads me to do to stop it.
All right. The man. How long have you been involved in the movement?
I'm just a recent convert. I've been like most Americans. I've never really thought about abortion. It's been too much of a controversial issue. There's too much going on either way. I don't want to alienate people, but hey, I saw old ladies old enough to be my grandmother putting their bodies in front of an abortion clinic, And I said, hey, I have the same courage, and I stood with them.
I commend you and Tommy Herr and a lot of the other guys who are members of Athletes for Life. I believe you're part of that organization also. And I, of course, commend Judy Brown with the American Life League, who, you know, was very instrumental in putting that organization together. You got guts, pal. Play life the way you play football, and we'll all win. Patty, let me ask you a question. Are you a mother?
Yes, I am. One
Okay.
of my daughters is here tonight.
Have you ever had an abortion?
No.
Would you
Never
have one
needed
if you
to.
had an unwanted pregnancy now?
Absolutely.
You would. If you got pregnant now, would you have one?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Why?
Because at this point in my life, I'm over 40 years old. I wouldn't risk it, and I wouldn't want to put my children through that. They're going to start college soon, and there's no way.
Children through having a little brother or a little sister?
That's right.
You are more.
I want my children to be able to have the same kind of a childhood that I had. It's my decision. And like Mr. Privero said, I believe in my God, and my God tells me to fight for a woman's right to choose for herself. That's what my God says.
When did this wonderful revelation come from your God? And what book did he give you where it said fight for your right, even
Well,
if it
we go by
means...
the Old Testament, and abortion isn't even mentioned in the Old Testament.
Isn't even
Nope.
Not true.
It is not.
true. Not true.
Where is it mentioned?
Where is it
Rabbi
mentioned?
Levin.
Where is
Brandy,
abortion
where is
mentioned?
Rabbi Levin, if you would have paid attention
Please,
the other
Rabbi
day.
Levin, tell me where he's a rabbi. Where is his shul? Where is his temple?
I don't know. You tell
That's
me.
right,
You don't
because he
know.
doesn't
That's
have
right.
one.
I don't know.
He talks out of his house in Borough Park and
Title
throws
with no
rocks at
fly.
people walking by on Saturdays. That's his claim to fame.
Oh, what about the little baby?
I'll give you a chance to read that. I'll give you a
My
chance to read
babies?
that in
I
just a
have
second.
2 babies.
Boy.
One's...
Thank
Can I
God.
ask a
Let me hear from
football
Bill.
player?
Bill.
I just want to ask
How
a
many should I
superstar.
have, Ricky? As many as
Patty,
you decide I should have, or as many as I think I should have?
I want to ask a superstar football player a question. Mark, you said you've given this some thought now. You're a pretty husky guy, pretty strong guy. Let's say you get hurt in a game, and now you're bleeding, and they rush you to a local hospital for a blood transfusion. And suddenly you find Jehovah's Witnesses were outside the doorway, blockading the doorway, because by their religious faith, they're opposed to blood transfusions. Do you think they've got a right, based on their moral belief, to deny you the right to a blood transfusion? Come on, Mark.
Shoot him down, Mark. Shoot him down. It doesn't take much logic to kick the crap out of a butcher.
Try it. So far, we've been whooping you all night, Mark.
Oh, bull. Let him answer.
Zip it, girls. Zip it. Obviously, you wouldn't have to have an abortion if you had zipped it.
What if men
He's
get
gonna-
their
we
flies? You wouldn't need it either.
Low blows, Mort.
You don't need to zip your fly. Obviously, you have nothing.
Well, how would you know? I don't wear red socks.
Let the man answer. Go ahead.
I'll tell you, Bill, if that ever happened, it would be something I wasn't in control of, and I would just pull out my rosary and pray to my God and just
But
say
do they have
thank
a
you,
right
and
to
I would die
blockade a blood
happily.
bank?
I would die happily.
Would they do that? They don't have that right, though.
No,
Which-
no, he did not say that. And Bill, there's a
Boy,
big
well,
difference.
it's a big toy. You
Here's
can
the
toy.
difference. Here's a
Mark,
guy
there's a
going
few that
in.
have a right.
Here's a guy going in bleeding to death,
Obviously,
and
if I
you're
needed a
talking
blood
about
transfusion,
someone
I wouldn't
who's
be able to
4 months pregnant.
do
Right,
anything.
There's a big
Except
difference.
pray.
You know,
there
let's
is a
show
difference.
it.
Women die with coat hangers and
Right here.
mosquitoes.
This is what Bill Baird fights for. This is what Bill Baird
Well, this
fights
is what
for.
I fight for. That
Here's
No,
women
we're not
don't
going to show
die.
that. We're not going to show
Women
that.
don't
We're not
die.
going to show any of this
Okay.
stuff. All right. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
That's
But they can show
What?
right to like
That's
pictures.
reality. That's what happens to women when they
You
abort
got one
themselves.
picture of some fat-ass dame who killed herself,
Right.
and her baby. He's got a picture of a garbage pail full of babies. You tell me she's worth them? Bull. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on the news at 10, drugs played a big role in last month's Metro North crash. Half of the crew had drugs in their bodies at the time of the train wreck.
Retin-A, it was hailed as wondrous anti-wrinkling properties, but some doctors say the real miracle is how the cream reverses skin cancer.
And America's most prolific songwriter reaches a milestone that most of us will never see. Pat Collins will have a tribute to Irving Berlin on his 100th birthday.
Straight ahead on the news at 10.
I sent this grown man to Waldbaum's for 1 box of diapers. 1 box. Do you know what he came home with? A 14-pound turkey.
Great price.
12 cans of sardines.
Portuguese.
Sliced ham.
Love ham.
And 2 dozen eggs.
Ham and eggs.
Jeffrey, look me in the eye and tell me Waldbaum's was out of diapers.
Waldbaum's was out of diapers.
There's more to Waldbaum's than what's on our shelves. Come share our values.
The Pontiac Grand Event of the Year is in full swing. During the Grand Event, your Pontiac dealers have the deals of the year on all Pontiacs. We're cutting prices on every Pontiac just to celebrate the Grand Event. And the special stars of the Grand Event, Grand Am, the #1 car in its class, and Grand Prix, Motor Trend's Car of the Year. We're dealing on every Pontiac like never before during the Grand Event of the Year. Hurry in now. Black tie not required. The Pontiac Grand Event of the Year is on now.
Delightful.
Coffee Cutlers.
Refreshing.
Coffee Cutlers.
Ah, yes.
Oh.
Exhilarating.
Coffee Cutlers.
Paradise. It's just one step away with Cobby Cutlers.
Coffee Cutlers.
And there's a gift for you. Knee-highs in 10 tropical shades.
Coffee Cutlers.
Free with your Cobby Cutlers at Macy's in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. Buy your copy at B. Dalton's, Walden Books, or wherever paperbacks are sold. A fresh look at today's problems.
Okay. Like I said, it's an issue that we can bring God to bear on. We can bring our own personal experiences to bear on. We can bring anything to bear on. And we never seem to be able to come together on this issue. I want to start with our audience. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi. Former registered nurse who worked in an emergency room in Brooklyn. That fat-ass woman died. Mort, I hope God forgives you. I hope God forgives you.
I hope
because
God
this
forgave
movement,
her.
This
I hope
movement
God
is
forgave
made
her.
up of nothing but women haters.
I hope God
and you
forgave
think
her.
that little thing he's showing is more important than that woman's
You're
life?
damn right,
Bill
I
Baird
think.
is saving
You're damn
lives.
right, I
Bill
think.
Baird
A
is
garbage
saving
pail.
lives.
A garbage pail. A garbage pail. That woman did it. That woman did it herself. Did it herself. Sit down. You have finished.
I'm not finished.
You have finished. You're finished, lady. Sit down. Sit down, fatso.
My name is Melanie Collins, and I'm with an organization called Refuse and Resist. And what I would like to do here is I'd like to really alert anybody watching that this guy, Randall Terry, is actually far more dangerous and repulsive than he looks. He represents a whole right-wing program which begins with pushing women back to the kitchen and the bedroom, barefoot and pregnant, and ends with nuclear Armageddon. In their pamphlets, they talk about the judgment of God falling down on the nation. These fundamentalists are on record as being in favor of the use of nuclear weapons. Of course, they'll be raptured away while the rest of us fry.
I doubt.
In fact,
I doubt that the use of nuclear weapons would do more damage than the surgeon's scalpel has to the 19 million babies.
Genocide of the
planet. You're through. She's up. You're through. She's up.
I have a question to ask Randy Terry.
Please sit down, Madam Dracula.
I'd like to ask you, I know you've assembled a lot of people from all over the country to come for Operation Rescue, But what does it really accomplish if this morning at Women's Choice, someone can't have an abortion, and a half hour later they take a 20-minute ride to Hempstead, and they have a counseling at Bill Baird, and he refers them to a doctor? What have you done?
Nothing.
Well,
What have you done?
Randy, what have you done? What have you done? Is this strictly an exercise for the media?
Absolutely not. Already
the
this
media
week,
event.
it is, but there's more to it. Since the beginning of the week, we know of 2 girls that have gone to a pro-life pregnancy center who have changed their mind, who were scheduled to have abortions. So there's 2 people. Maybe it'll be a president. Maybe it'll be another Susan B. Anthony. We don't
Maybe
know.
another Hitler.
But
Maybe another
it's
Hitler.
better than that baby being killed in the womb by people like your Dr. Jaffe, who's an ear, nose, and throat specialist who did an abortion on a woman who now can't have children.
That's not, she just had a
Well,
baby. Randy,
at least
just
you
had
can
a
still
child.
hear, huh?
Well,
You know
that's
how
not
dumb
what...
you are that you don't know
let me
facts.
go to the audience. Go ahead.
2 points. Number 1, I was adopted, and my parents had me illegitimately, and they chose to place me in a family where I was adopted. Praise God, I'm alive. Number 2, I was pregnant when I was 17, and I want to know, you know, you've been
Did you keep the
chanting.
baby?
You've been chanting against us while we've been out there picketing that you don't care if women die and stuff like that, okay? If I had come to you, say my family was totally non-supportive, all my friends, and I come to you, one of your articles say, pregnant, need help, come to us. What if I came to you, what would you have done? You would
I would help you go through the pregnancy if that's what you wanted.
Would you pay
you know
for
what?
it?
You know
Would you
what?
pay
Wait,
for it?
wait.
Okay.
You know what you'd have done? You know what you'd
Let
have
her
done?
say it. Let her finish.
Let her finish.
We would help you.
Finish.
Let her finish.
You
Your
know
choice is going to have your ass drop kicked out of here in a minute.
I know exactly what you would have done. I watched you handle some women this morning and guiding them. Number 1, you would have tried to get the metal and the grinders in me. But you know what? I chose to, and you know what? It wasn't easy, women. It wasn't easy. I couldn't go on with my career just like I wanted and all that stuff. And oh yes, the labor pains. And oh
Did
yes,
you have the baby?
labor pains were hard, but I gave life, and she's 2 years old today.
My name is Janice Weber. I came in for Operation Rescue from Indianapolis. I'm president of Women for Women, which is a pro-life feminist organization. And I just wanted to address one issue here, basically about the religion. There was a derogatory comment made from a woman before about the Jews and how they're not included in this movement. Well, most of our and many of our quotes come from the Old Testament, from Jeremiah, from Psalms. For thou didst form my
Well, I
inward
still say,
parts.
what about the poor atheists? I mean, they have no
Well,
Bible
all right,
to
but
read.
I was addressing that issue where there's this dissension or division between the Jews and the Christians. There are many, many Jews that are pro-life.
You bet there are. That's
right.
And it comes from the Old Testament.
No, I'll tell you what, so we have enough time
Can
to
I
wrap
just
all
say
this
one
up.
other
I want to
thing
take
here?
a commercial break for a minute, all right? So some of us make dough here, and we'll be right back. If you think the whole world's gone crazy, it's gone mad. Mort After Dark, Saturday nights at 11.
And now, the news you've all been anxiously awaiting. Motor Trend has just named its import car of the year. We think you'll be happy to know the Honda CRX SI, the Honda Civic, and the four-wheel steering Prelude SI finished first, second, and third. Honda, now more than ever, the car that sells itself. At your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Tri-Honda dealer.
Lemon Tree Hair Cutters. For early birds, open 8 a.m. Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. Sunday. Open late for night owls. You know what you want and where to find it. Lemon Tree Hair Cutters.
Think about a second mortgage home equity loan. At Champion, mortgages are our only business, and nobody does it better. When your bank says no, Champion says yes.
Poseidon Pool's factory direct showrooms are open to the public with a giant selection of pools, accessories, spas, ceiling fans, outdoor furniture, and grills. By cutting out the middleman, Poseidon can offer you a high-quality product line at low, low prices. A complete 15-foot pool package, only $649. We make it, we sell it. We won't be undersold. Visit one of Poseidon's showrooms at these convenient locations and save.
It's
It's back, the Coors Beer Supercross, returning to Giant Stadium for one incredible night only. Here it comes this Saturday night. See the superstars of Supercross, current leader Ricky Johnson and national champion Jeff Ward, Ron the Machine Lachine and Brock Glover. An incredible display of motocross mania that treats men and vehicle the same, with no respect. Wild jumps and brutal bumps. Tickets at all Tri-State Ticketmasters, Meadowlands Arena, participating Honda dealers, and Giant Stadium race day only. This Saturday night, the Coors Beer Supercross.
Bargain hunting for a muffler? Get the Midas Economizer. It's guaranteed, installed by experts, and costs just $25. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
What the hell, devil is going on with New Jersey's hockey coach, huh? The team's in enough trouble with Boston already. Now the coach is on thin ice. All the developments next on the news at 10.
Take off for a fascinating career in aeronautics. For over 55 years, the College of Aeronautics has successfully placed its graduates in one of America's fastest-growing industries, aviation. Prepare for an exciting, high-paying future, a career you can be proud of. Classes start in June and September. Call the College of Aeronautics at 718-429-6600. 718-429-6600.
Some guests of the Morton Downey Jr. Show stay at the Meadowlands Hilton Hotel.
Quickly, I want to go back to our audience because then I want to come to our two main guests, sir.
Randy, and you, Mort, also, and anybody else in this audience, what happens when that 13-year-old daughter of yours gets raped by an AIDS victim? Where's that baby going to be? That one that's sentenced to death.
That baby will always be in my heart, and I'm sure in the heart of God. Let me tell you, pal, till you've had a 13-year-old daughter raped, don't ask the question. Because as Bill Baird knows, I have. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of tired of this rhetoric that you've been handing us, Bill. I'm a liberal and I'm a Jew, and I'm also an organizer of Liberals for Life, and we have thousands of people, and we've joined Operation Rescue. We are going to put you out of business. We are sick of you pseudo-feminist clowns, you neurotic, all of you, your whole wild kingdom should go back in the hole that you came from.
I want
our two.
Bill. I want our two.
Peacefully, you're a dinosaur.
Zip it. Zip it. I told you 30 seconds. We've got a little time left in the show. I want these gentlemen to conclude. Tell me what you're going to do in the weeks and months ahead.
We've got 8 major...
Tell me if you can do it in 30 seconds.
We got 8 major metropolitan areas. We're going to continue on with Operation Rescue. We're going to be in Philadelphia on July 4th. Contact us in Operation Rescue in Binghamton, New York, P.O. Box 1180. And we have a book coming out, end of June, on Operation Rescue. We want this movement to grow, and there's people going to be doing this stuff all over the country.
Bill, let me ask you a question.
Maybe you could join us.
Let me ask you a question. Are we ever going to... Well, Bill, finish up.
All I wanted to point out that we're going to stop in code. We're going to make people realize that this is a religious crusade.
They haven't stopped us this week.
We stopped your code. Yesterday, we stopped you at my place. Okay, just in a nutshell, what we're fighting for here is really freedom from religion as well as freedom of religion, the dignity of women to decide their own future, and we will win because right is on the side of those who believe in our Constitution.
As always, I get the final word, all right? And the final word is, I hope we can all be together a year from now. In the meantime, I'll be with them in Operation Rescue, all right? But I hope we can all be together because humanity is what's important. Not women, not men, humanity. And regardless of what side you're on, pal, come on. I love you, and I love you. All right? Come on. Don't tell me it can't happen, because it can happen. Good night. Jake, you've nothing wrong with him. He is not the devil. We can convert him. We can convert him. All right?